You know what? He's right. I haven't uploaded in over a month. Yes, I like my own videos. What about it? But I'm back, and I've got a lot planned and more videos on the way after this one. So do not fear, no more 1 month breaks for a while. By the way, did anyone else notice this? Somehow I didn't at the time, but there is some wacky shit going on here. This dude is in a boat, getting pulled by another boat with a rope, just having a gay old time. But I am proud to have a stand-up citizen like yourself subscribe to this channel. That is, if you even are subscribed to this channel. Maybe this dude's a phony. You know what? I know a way to tell. You, boat guy, you filthy animal. Comment on this video and I will pin it. You deserve it. Alright, enough of that. Back to the video you actually clicked on. Well, we're on our way to the main thing we're doing. Some summer steelhead, but I'm gonna make a couple casts right here. Alright, let's make just a couple more casts in this kind of almost under the bridge spot. Then we're out of here. Got one. There's a fish. How about that? I don't even have a net to land this thing with. That's not a bad fish, too. I don't know what it is, but it feels decent. Has some decent weight to it. Oh yeah, for sure a good fish. I'm gonna try and land this guy with no net. So I'm gonna really loosen off my drag. And I'm gonna try and find a little spot to bring him into. I think right here will work. Nice rainbow, I think. Beautiful bow. See if we can get him into this little spot right here. Keep him, wet my hand first. This is gonna work out real well. Okay, try to keep him just right in here. And I know, buddy, I know you're getting me all wet, but I deserve it. I deserve it for not having a net. There we go, beautiful cutthroat. I don't even think he's hooked anymore. Yeah, he's literally not even hooked anymore. It's just wrapped around his jaw. All right, he's about to release himself here. There he goes. That was a fish. That was definitely a fish. Right on the edge of the brown and green water. Off to the steelhead. Here we go. Well, here we are at our final destination. We've done a lot of scouting, but well, here we are at our final destination, looking for some steelhead. We've done a lot of scouting, but now we're actually going to do some fishing, so let's try that. And I'm even going to bring the trout rod and trout gear here, because this is a pretty big, deep pool. There could be some good sized trout holding in it. We'll see. Here we go, my first cast for steelhead of summer.
That's a fish. No, that was a good fish too. Man, I don't know what that was, but that was a solid hit. Wow, it is like legitimately a pond back here. It's not moving at all, and it's actually really deep in there. It does flow back that way, go around the island and get a lot more compacted and deep, but there's like a straight up little pond right here. Be funny if there was something in it. That's pretty deep, man. Oh, something's following it. Something just followed it in. Couldn't quite see how big it was totally, but it was like a somewhat real trout. All right, let's see if I can even cross over to this island. Here we go. If I go in, I go in. Yep, taking on a little bit of water, but I think I'm across. Yep, there we go. Okay. Well, not much luck, and now I have to cross back over this deep little connector here. Well, here we go, going over the waders again. Just gonna do it as quickly as I can. Tiptoeing. Ooh, I'm not quite over. I actually think I made it over that time with almost no water coming in. Well, as usual, my dad and I have come up with a really dumb idea. I'm gonna get into the float tube and try and fish some of the places in the middle of this pool that no one else can really fish.
Well, big shocker, I know, but this idea didn't work, so we headed to a new river in search of some trout. Well, this video is going to be all over the place. So we are, I don't know, another hour away from that Steelhead River, and we are now fishing, I guess, for the last like hour or two of the night. This river, which is very close to a big lake that I'm gonna float tube up to, I guess, maybe, hopefully. I don't even know if it's gonna be good. And on top of all that, I've got one battery because I dropped the other two in the river. So, yeah. Oh, I just love this, camping in the forest because the campground was full. Going fishing at like 6 p.m. after getting eaten alive by bugs while I tried to tie up a couple of jigs. And it's also windy, so that'll be fun in the float tube once I get to the main lake. All right, I'm gonna stop complaining. Time to go fish. What the hell? There's like a beaver or an otter carrying a big stick, swimming. I guess it's a beaver carrying the stick to his den. Float tubes are slow as is, but the wind at my back and the current at my back is making this a little slow. Well, looks like this is definitely going to be a trout video. It's the next day here, and we're not very good at, or we haven't done summer steelhead fishing very much, my dad and I, but we do know that fishing what is one of the best, if not the best, summer steelhead river on the island, and seeing no one else fishing maybe means we're here at slightly the wrong time, or it's not that good. Whatever the case, this is going to be a trout video, I think. And I
I'm just walking up to a little spot at a river to make a couple of casts. We have a sort of main destination picked out for today that is quite a decent river flowing into a very big lake, but I'm gonna make a couple of casts here before we go there. My dad actually got about a 19-inch rainbow last night in this river, but in the upper section right beside the lake where we were camping. But I don't know, could be something down here. Let's try the other side of the bridge here at the headwaters kinda of this pool. I just lost one. I actually this thing, I made one cast in the current. This thing was striking it in the current, I think 3 times, and he followed it all the way from the top down to there. And then I made another cast in the current, and once it got down to the last place he struck again, and I saw him flash. Not a big fish, but you know, a decent one. 16-inch, 15-inch rainbow, it looked like to me. And there's another fish right there. No way. That's hilarious. This one looks like a cutty. 13-inch cutty. Beautiful fish. Not an easy place to net here. There he goes. Well, at least I'm hooking stuff now. Well, here we are, about 2 hours of driving logging roads later. We have arrived at quite a wild, middle of nowhere little river here that has wild brown trout in it, so this could be pretty interesting. We also might do some fly fishing in the estuary of this river where it flows into the ocean. There's sea run cutties and a possibility of dolly vardens, so got a few little opportunities here. There's actually some fairly good water right beside the road here, but it's a little hard to access. Let's see if there's a shore for me to cast from here. Yeah, there's some rocks. There's some rocks. Oh shit. Well, that huge rock right there just turned and almost crushed my ankle. I was kinda lucky there. I was actually pretty close to squishing my ankle there. That would have hurt. Okay, this will be fun to make a cast from here. Welcome to my channel. I do stuff like this in almost every video. I'm having a hard time even putting my rod together, and I'm supposed to be making casts and landing fish from this spot. What a great idea. Okay, I like this. Despite the minor difficulties of doing anything, I like this. We're gonna sit right here on this rock, and we're gonna cast right on the seam of this current. And I bet we're gonna get a brown. Got one. That's a fish. That's a good fish too. That's a real good fish, actually. Oh my God. Oh shit, I was not ready for something like this. Okay, that's a big fish. That's a lot of weight. Oh boy, I'm crouched on this tiny little rock on the edge of the trees here. Okay, net's out. This fish is just holding right in the current. I have no idea what it is or how big yet. Big, giant brown trout. Giant brown trout. No fucking way. Okay, I'm gonna get my clothes and shoes wet here, but I'm going in. Okay. Okay, it's gonna be a little easier to land them like this. This is such a big fish. Crazy red spots on them too. Absolutely no way this happens. Holy shit, gonna loosen off my drag a little bit here. Just to be careful. Okay, buddy, okay. Okay, stay on for me. Stay on for me. Got him! Oh my God. No way. That is one of the most incredible brown trout I have ever caught. I just jumped into the water to get this thing, and that is an unbelievably gorgeous fish. Look at the red spots. This is like my second biggest brown trout ever. And this is the first fish I've ever caught in this river. I could not be more happy. I mean, this is one of the prettiest fish I've caught in my entire life. I have no words. Just look at that fish right there. Giant head and jaws. This is a wild, old fish that has just been growing and growing and growing. And he is unbelievably gorgeous.
Well, unfortunately when we got home, I found out we were fishing illegally in this river. We didn't plan to go to this river on this trip, and I had no service and no way of checking the regulations while we were there. And now, unfortunately, this is where we are. Here's where things get hairy. I was technically fishing illegally, I think. I may get fined for uploading this or asked to take the video down, I really don't know. And I don't want that to happen, but my hope is that it won't, because I am using this instance to educate on how not to make a similar mistake like I did. The regulations are complicated and convoluted enough if you are just a trout fisherman or just a steelhead fisherman, just a saltwater guy, just a salmon in rivers guy, but I like to do it all. And I'm going to be honest, though I recognize it's my fault I didn't read the regs, I think there is a huge problem with the regulations. I am a die-hard fisherman, and I frequently have moments where I don't understand the language of the regs, can't find a specific regulation, or the regs just change, and all of a sudden, all the rivers south of Campbell River are closed from July 15th to August 31st, but oh wait, there's also quite a few exceptions, and also, oh wait, there's no map, so you have to go through the list of river regulations and find a specific river to check if it is closed or exempt from the closure. By the way, this is just an example. There's nothing wrong with that specific reg change I'm talking about, and I'm a huge advocate of doing whatever is necessary to conserve fish populations. But, and it's a big but, So few people actually check the regulations online, and if they do, they may be checking the out-of-date ones. Even if they aren't, they may misunderstand the regs. Even quite a few experienced anglers I meet don't understand the regulations sometimes, but the point is that the number of casual and even a few experienced guys that just won't know the regulations changed and fish some of these closed rivers is a huge amount. Again, this is just an example of a recent regulation change. This applies to everything, and the thing is that for most people there is no effect, because it's not like there is someone checking people for breaking rules at every single river on the island. In fact, in my entire time fishing on the island, I've never been checked or even met a freshwater officer, and I've only been checked once by a DFO guy on the Campbell River, which is funny because after checking if I had barbed hooks, kept any fish, and that I had my license on me, he drove right past the bridge spot where multiple people were fishing illegally. And by the way, don't even get me started on when they describe a zone of the river with no fishing allowed or different regulations from the normal river as between Robertson Creek and Jeffrey Creek, fly fishing only September 1st to April 1st. And one or both of those creeks aren't named on Google Maps, and when you ask locals, they all have a different answer as to where the zone starts and ends. Again, and I'm going to repeat this a lot, I really hope this doesn't come off as me bashing the DFO or the freshwater regulations people. I am only saying these things to make you understand my perspective, where because I upload videos of me fishing, I feel like I'm the only one sometimes that has to check every single little detail of the regs to make sure I'm not uploading something that could get me a ticket without even realizing it. Meanwhile, I constantly meet people that don't know the regs, sorta halfway know them, and people that just don't care, because for most people there are no consequences unless they get extremely unlucky and actually run into an officer. And there are even more complicated examples of sudden changes in the rules than this, and that's me, a person who fishing on Vancouver Island is my main hobby. I cannot begin to explain the amount of people that I've met out fishing that are fishing illegally and don't know they are or just don't care. Choose to believe me or not, but in some places I run into more people who don't know the regulations than people that do. And I don't really blame them. Later in this video, I actually met a guy that thought he could keep wild sea-run cutthroat trout in the Campbell River and let him know that you can't do that. But I really don't see these people at fault for the most part. Unfortunately, the regulations are so complicated, sometimes convoluted, and even a little hard to find on the internet, and not to mention the fact that the changes can be as frequent as day to day in salmon season, so you can't just memorize them. Again, I want to make it extremely clear that I am very invested in the success of the fishing community here on Vancouver Island, and I only bring these things up to advocate for positive change in an area I know to be a big problem, and to use my mistakes to bring light to what I believe to be pretty big issues. If you are still watching after all that talking, first of all, what are you doing? This is boring as hell. Second of all, here is the weirdest part about this situation. In the regs, this is the rule that makes what I did illegal. Artificial fly only. This doesn't mean fly fishing. This doesn't mean you have to fish with a fly rod. It just means, and I'm reading this off here word for word, the lure you are using has to be a single pointed hook that is dressed only with fur, feathers, hair, textiles, tinsel, and or wire. So you can weight the fly with lead wire legally. This is legal. Get a little closer there. Look at that. By the way, I could probably tie this wire head jig a lot cleaner and cover up the wire, but the point is for you to see the wire and understand that this is basically the same as this. So this is illegal, this is illegal, but this, A-okay. It also says, and again I'm reading this off, where gear is restricted to artificial flies, floats and sinkers may be attached to the line. So this head weight on this jig, this is illegal. But this, or even this are totally legal, because this is still technically a split shot attached to the line, not the fly. And with this right here, I could have fished it the exact same way, caught the exact same fish, and had no difference in the action or effectiveness of the lure. And even if there was a minimum distance between the weight and the lure, which there isn't, I could still pretty much do the same thing with this. And guess what? That is exactly what I will do at this river in the future. And if a DFO officer or freshwater fisheries person is watching this, please don't find me because I'm broke and don't have the money. And next time I will make sure to use this instead of this, abiding by the regulations.
I know I just talked for like 5 minutes straight, but there is still more fishing in this video, so stick around just a little longer for that. This is incredible. I don't know how I'm gonna try and access this, but this is incredible. And not only that, but it keeps going. This is the same river I was just fishing. There's so much more water. Maybe. Oh yeah, there is. Not quite to the spot I was just talking about, but I can for sure get down. Such a brownish yellow river. I wonder why that is. Oh my God! I can't believe I didn't just record that. I have no words for. I just cast like way over here, like way over there. Twitched it through the deep section the whole time, absolutely nothing. And then reeling it as fast as I could in. Not way out there, like there in 6 inches or less of water. Where it happened, I can see the rocks and it's like maybe 6 inches deep. A giant fish came up and basically struck it like a topwater bass lure. That was insane. That fish came out of the water and it might have been bigger than the brown that I hooked earlier. He did it again! He went for it. He's not where I thought he was. He's right in front of me. He didn't follow it out. I got that one on camera that time. That wasn't quite as theatrical as the last one. It's as big as the one that I caught earlier. So he's right. He's not out there. He's right off the ledge here. I don't know what I should do for him.
Well, after this, that fish moved out into the middle of the pool, and my dad actually saw him go there. We got him to take a run at it once more, but that fish did not end up getting on my line. After this bridge spot, we actually did quite a bit of exploring upstream and found 4 or 5 very good looking pools. We didn't get anything but a few small browns though, so I might give a little bit of that footage in the background of this talking here, but anyway, if by some miracle you are a dedicated enough viewer to watch through all of that 5 minutes of regulation talk or whatever it was, and rambling and complaining about regulations, you are probably the person I want to hear this. I am creating a Patreon. As a very small fishing channel, I do not make any money off my videos yet. Fishing gear, camera gear are insanely expensive, and if you want to donate, 100% will be spent on gear and equipment I need to film bigger and better videos as my channel hopefully grows. I don't expect to get any donations at all, but the Patreon is there, and it's going to stay there going forward into the future. It's totally optional, and I don't want anyone to donate if they don't have the disposable income to do it, especially in the strange times we live in right now. Anyways, that's it. Goodbye.